Okay, part 2 of this, still for Mod A. So the part that we ended up at was sorting these, and I have this balance sorted from least to greatest. And that adjusted everything out, okay? I had said there are ways that you could actually sort by different levels. And by sorting by different levels, I'm saying by adding levels. Now there's 2 ways to do this. One of them is in the Home tab. If you go into the editing group, you can actually get into this into a custom sort. Okay, it is in here by clicking custom sort. I never go there, to be honest with you. I've been doing this for years now, like over a dozen years, and I never go there. What I end up doing is I go to the data tab because I'm thinking I want to work with data. And I go to a sort and filter group, and I just click on advanced. Or sort. One of these 2. I'm going to get to advanced in a little while. Actually, that's going to be next chapter's piece. Or next module, module B, we're going to deal with this. So we're going to constantly keep coming to the data tab for a lot of different things. That's why I tend to go to the data tab anyway. Data tab, sort and filter group, sort. When I click on this one, right now it's saying it is being sorted by the balance, which we know, we just did that. But I could add another level and say, well, don't mess the balances up. But now I'm going to ask you to switch and sort by priority. Oh, and by the way, don't screw up the balance, then don't screw up the priority, then sort by the member. So when I click on that, you're going to notice there are 1, 2, 3 up arrows which show what's actually happening there. Okay, that's there because all 3 of those are actually being sorted on. Why did things not really change? Well, it has to first sort by the balance, so this has to be the smallest to the largest. So those could not move. Okay, then the priority was next, then the names were next. So if I went back into there and I said, well, the first thing I want to sort by is maybe priority, then I'm going to do the order member, and then I do by the balance. And by the way, I could change the smallest to largest, largest to smallest, customize my list, whatever. Okay. So that's all here. Then I click OK. Look what's going to happen. First of all, I'm going to get all the 1s first for priority. Then within all of the 1s, you can see Rubius is first, Sirius, Severus, Remus, Rubius, Albus. It's all in weird orders, right? Then it's going to sort by the order member, and then after that, it's going to sort by whatever the balance was. So if I click on this, priority number 1 is all here. The first thing I sorted was priority, so number 1s followed by number 2s. Then within the priorities, I sorted by name. So Remus comes before Rubius, comes before Severus, comes before Sirius. And then within those names, I sorted by smallest to largest, or in this case, smallest to largest, or for Hagrid, smallest to largest. Okay. Then it said, okay, well, after priority number 1, I did all those 3 sorts. Priority number 2 was next. Priority 2 was sorted out. That was the next piece. After priority number 2, then I went by name. Here's everybody's names: Albus, Arthur, Rubius, Sirius. Again, in order. So first it's number 2, then it's in order by this, and then within these pieces, Arthur Weasley, this was sorted from smallest to biggest. Hagrid, smallest to biggest. These 2 look exactly the same, don't they? The only thing different is the order number. And then again, Sirius here, smallest number to largest number. Keep in mind, by the way, if you guys are looking at this saying, how is 435 smaller than 10,000? Remember, in parentheses, that's another way of writing negative in Excel. So hopefully you guys weren't thinking that before. I just want to put a reminder out there. We learned that back in my other course, the prerequisite for this one. You guys should already have known that, but in case you forgot, that's what the reason is. So again, these are different ways you can actually do this. And again, I want to switch it. I'm going to sort first by the member. Then I will sort by the priority. And then the balance, I'm going to say largest to smallest. So I'm going to switch it up. So everything got switched. Albus Dumbledore comes first. priority number 1, then 2, then a 3, highest down to smallest. Arthur Weasley's next. His priorities are sorted 2s, 3, 4s. I got Remus in here, sorry about that. And then his money went from highest to lowest. Now, how is this high, low to high again? It's because within the 2s, that's high to low. 3 is only 1. Then his, Arthur Weasley's, within his 4s, go from high to low. Okay? So that's where that comes in differently. All right, so that's how the sorting is concerned. Adding levels, you will see these things every time there's an added level. All right? And also with these tables, you see this filter button is turned on. I'm going to show you guys something else that's pretty cool here. I'll do a priority on this one. I'm going to say, just show me 2s, 3s only. I'm going to take off 4 also. Not only does this have an arrow, that's got an arrow, that's got an arrow, that also has what looks like a funnel or a filter. It's telling me that this is being filtered and these things are being sorted on. Okay? So that's something that you have to keep in mind too. Whenever you see these little symbols, they mean something. The down arrow means highest to lowest. The up arrow means from A to Z or from low to high. This is from low to high because it's an upwards arrow. But it's also got a funnel, which means this is being filtered. And it tells the person or the user that we're not looking at all the data here. And this is the reason, because the priority is being sorted. Or filtered, I'm sorry. Now, no filter on says I'm looking at all the data. Now it's sorted, sorted, sorted. Okay? While we're here, formulas in a table. If you want to actually do things with formulas, you can. If you go inside the table, Table Tools Design tab here, Table Styles option, there's a Totals row. This Totals row right here, right now it's checked off. When I click on, see how it goes down to the bottom here? This is part of, and it's connected to the whole table because I turned it on. Okay, now it is part of the table. When I click inside of here, all I have to do is click on it and say, what do I want to do? Do I want to find the maximum, the minimum number? Add them all up so I get a sum. I can do standard deviation and variance for those of you guys that are taking statistics. Count how many numbers there are. Just do a count in general. Do an average of the numbers. Okay, so I can do all of these things based on this. Now I can also sort it in here. Just because it's not there currently, I can click in any of these and you see there's a little down arrow. That means I can include it. If I want to find the average of the savings, click inside of here. I find the average of the spending. I might as well find, the average, sorry, my mouse is being funny, the average of this piece. The average priority, that'd be kind of interesting to see. 2.2. Okay, so there's a lot more 1s and 2s than there are 3s and 4s, that means. So I can do those types of things. For this, can't really average names. It doesn't really work. Okay, it's say divide by 0 because there's not a number in there, right? So it could count how many names. There's 38 total names that I have here. I can find them. That's about it. Count. They don't have any other functions in this puzzle. I could do more functions, but really, if I count how many there are 38 different rows. That's what it's telling me automatically. You are looking at this saying that says 39, but keep in mind, 1 doesn't actually count, right? So there are only 38 rows. But again, that is from the totals row being turned on in the Table Tools Design tab, Table Styles options, turn on the total row. And then that's how you're going to get any formulas and things like that inside of here. Okay? Last thing I'm going to show you guys is rows to repeat at the top for final editing. So right now, as I'm scrolling, if I had multiple pages going on, I wouldn't know what these tops are because this necessarily wouldn't print. So for example, if I go to this view, okay, on the top of this piece of paper, I don't know what these things are. This is here only because this is Excel, it's a computer program, but if I print this out, I don't know what these things mean. Is this a savings or is this a savings? Which one is which? Okay, so what we do is once we have it this way, we go up to the top, and I always like to go to the Home tab to start out with everything, but you would go to the page layout, and in the page setup group, you have two options. You can open up the dialog box if you'd like, or you can click on this one. It says print titles. choose the rows and columns you'd like to repeat. So if I click on this, this is the same setup anyway. So it doesn't really matter which way you do it, if you click on that or if I click on the dialog box launcher and I go over to Sheet. I'm getting the same stuff anyway. So print titles, that's a spot, right? Print titles, print titles. Rows to repeat at the top. What row do I want to repeat? Well, obviously I want row number 1. And if you look at this, as I'm moving, I have this funny looking arrow and it's highlighting the row headings. I want row number 1 to repeat at the top. Remember, absolute reference means $signs, right? So this says absolute reference row 1 all the way to row 1. Don't move those rows. That means they will be there forever, repeating at the top of every single page I make. When I click on print preview, here's page number 1. I'm going to click over to page 2. Here's page number 2. Okay? So it will be on every single page. And if I, for whatever reason, had more, here's page number 2. If I had more data in this table and I printed it on here, as you can see, all I did was print on this and it's already coming up. And what's cool about this is it already shows what's being sorted on. We know balance is going from high to low. Priority is going from low to high, so 1 to 4. And order member is from low to high or from A to Z, that means. So just by clicking on this, it's already going to have this on the next page. So just so you guys can see, whoops, let me just type something here, right? When I go back to that print preview, here's page number 1, page 2. Oh, I have to set the print, sorry. So print area, when I go to print all, it'll show you it on the 3rd page. Whoa, there it is, right there. So I set a print area of just this pieces, page 1 and page 2. I made that prior. So if I go down to here and I make a page 3, that would be on page 3. You would see that as a title as well. So let me show you guys that in a second here. Print, page 1, page 2, and that is on page 3, and it still shows that piece. Okay. So what I had before was I set it only to 2 pages. That's why I didn't show it first. That was just me being me, I guess. So setting this to that page. Okay. So that's the print area. That's what I did. Questions so far on anything, please let me know. Otherwise, again, page layout tab, print titles, or you can open up the dialog box, go to Sheet, and rows to repeat at the top. You can also do the same thing with columns if you really wanted to. If you had a certain column that you wanted never ever to move, you can do that. Say you were doing a list of a bunch of names for employees or something like that. Oops, I'm going to cancel that. And you had a whole ton of data that kept going sideways. You want to know what row 14's employee is. You would want that to be repeated on every single page. It would make sense. So depending on what you have, our data only had things short enough that we wanted to repeat the rows. If you want to repeat the columns, it's the same thing. When you're in here, you're going to see this downward arrow, same thing, and it's going to go and say you're going to repeat each one. So repeat L has L highlighted. Okay? I'm going to cancel that so it doesn't actually do it. So if anybody has any questions, please let me know. Email me. And otherwise, it should be a good lesson. Have a good day, everybody. This is the end of Mod A, Part 2.